To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a soap opera star.
Gracious me, my car has storm damage and I've had to file a claim. Could it possibly get worse? Will my claims team leave me for someone else? Someone less intense?
No. Actually, when you file a claim with Geico, you get your own dedicated claims team who promises to stay with you throughout the process.
Oh, I've never known such loyalty. I can't wait for the second season.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
Hi, this is Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I hope you'll join me for a special 3-part podcast series, In the Heights, El Sueñito. So in this podcast, me, my dear friend Eva Longoria, and 2 of my longtime collaborators, Chiara Alegria Judes, who wrote the book for In the Heights, and Alex Lackamore, my musical collaborator on this and so many things, will tell you the true origin story of this show, and now this film that has meant so much to me. Listen to In the Heights, El Sueñito podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to a Memorial Day edition of Primetime Action. Matt Brown, Adam Candy, Kelly Bidlin behind the glass, Danielle Alvari will join us in just a bit. Gil Alexander will be back next week, still on his vacation, gallivanting around the world on his private jet, but he'll be back next week. Appreciate all the sacrifices of the people out there here on this Memorial Day. Adam, we are underway in hockey, both playoff games going, and that's a replay. I was going to say, did we just see a goal? But no, that was a replay for just a second ago.
Yeah, we have reached the first intermission between the Bruins and the Islanders. Isles are down 1-0 to the Boston Bruins. This Bruins team continues to look like a juggernaut. Ever since the addition of Taylor Hall to this offense, they have taken off. Isles tried to shake things up tonight, go to Semyon Varlamov. Sorokin had been in net for them for most of the playoffs. First period goal for the Boston Bruins. Coming up, we will also have the second period between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. No score thus far between them. This was something that I took a very, very long look at the under on before ultimately passing, largely because I was already invested in the Canadiens plus 180.
Live total in that one's down to 3.5, minus 215 on the Maple Leafs, plus 165. On Montreal, if you wanted to go there, the Bruins minus 435 live favorites, plus 320 on the Islanders if you think they are to come back. Still lots of hockey to be played in that one. We do have the NBA rocking and rolling as well. Kelly, what are we looking at from the over in Washington?
Yeah, second quarter action over there. We got Sixers leading right now, 46-39. 7.5 minutes left in the first half. If you wanted to get in on this game live, the Sixers anywhere between 9.5 and 10.5 point live favorites in this game. 234 to 235.5 is what I'm seeing for totals out there. A couple baseball games going on right now. The Braves leading the Nationals 5-3, bottom of the 8th inning. If you wanted to hop in live, you can get 20-1 on the Nats. 8.5 is your live total shaded to the under. And the Indians leading the White Sox 3-1, top of the 5th inning.
We do have a first pitch coming in about 7 or 8 minutes. The Pirates and the Royals. It's Chad Kuhl versus Mike Minor. Adam, Mike Minor and the Kansas City Royals, minus 190 favorites here against Kuhl and the Pirates. Yes, nearly a 2-1 favorite, Mike Minor and the Royals.
And this actually opened minus 165 on the Royals and has been bet out to this point. Hey, newsflash, this is not the Mike Minor who started the season with an 0.91 ERA over his first 5 starts. This is Mike Minor settling back into who he's been for the better part of his career. Inconsistent and not someone that I would be comfortable laying $2.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you start to look at these underlying stats. I mean, xFIP of 439 for Minor. You can tell that that's starting to get out of control right there. Fly ball rate of over 40%. So, again, we talk about that. These high fly ball rate pitchers, with the way that these guys swing for the fences these days, doesn't always equal out to be great. Only a 10% swing and strike rate for him as well, and in hard contact, giving up nearly 40% of the time as well. So yeah, I don't think that a Royals team should really ever be a 2-1 favorite.
And that's actually sort of the similar theory to why I have my bet on the Canadiens tonight, right? These teams are not that far apart. The Canadiens are not plus 180 dogs, much the same way the Pirates are not plus 180 dogs against these Kansas City Royals.
Right. Chad Kuhl, he's only made a couple starts this year, not been great for sure. But again, like we're talking about the Royals here. I mean, they're 2-1 favorites. I do not think so. That's not the way that I would be going about this. Of course, we have a tip-off at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, the Jazz and the Grizzlies. Jean Bontobel will join us a little bit later and get his thoughts on how this game might play out. But, we're looking at a Jazz 2-1 series lead here. Grizzlies won game 1 in this series by 3, and then the Jazz won the last 2. They won by 12. They won by 10. So a couple of double-digit wins for them in the last 2 games. Kelly, I don't know how much you dug into this one, but again, it's just to me, I think I'm going to sit back and watch this, maybe look to get in game, maybe on the Jazz. I think if anything, I want to get in on the Jazz live.
Yeah, this was I tied it into a money line parlay from yesterday.
Look at you. It is primetime action here on Beast and Matt Brown, Adam Candy. Kelly Bidlin and Danielle Alvari. If you want to follow us on the Twitter machine, at Matt Brown M2, at Adam Candy, that's 2 E's, no Y, at Danielle Alvari, and at Kelly Veason on the Twitter machine. You should follow us. It is absolutely free to do so, and maybe every now and then you get a little bit of a nugget. In that game 3, Donovan Mitchell, 29 points. Despite only going 2 of 10 from deep, he still had 29 points in that game. Mike Conley had 27, but he did shoot well from 3. He had 7 3-pointers on 10 attempts. The Jazz as a team shot 44% from 3, which is what this team was all season long, right? I mean, they shot a ton of threes and they made a ton of threes. And when that happens in game 2, it played out. In game 3, it played out, and you get 2 double-digit wins.
Yeah, this was so I laid 5 with the Jazz in game 3, and I tied a money line into a parlay for this game. But this is, I think you're getting a cheap price on the Jazz in this game and overall in this series a little bit, simply because we've seen so many of these other teams. The Sixers tonight. We've seen the Bucks. Some of these teams have just dominated from the jump in game 1. And yes, I think Memphis came in playing well into this series, obviously getting through the play-in tournament at the end of the regular season. Saw some impressive stuff from them. Don't get me wrong. John Morant's been incredible this series. We've seen Dylan Brooks step up at times. But I think you're seeing, just because they were able to steal that game 1, I think you're getting a little bit of a decreased price on the Jazz here to me. So this has been I'm looking at them nearly every game, whether it's live or pregame. 5.5 at this point. Maybe tie it in or look at it live, but still, I still think you're getting a cheap price on the Jazz. Yeah,
5.5 across the board. Really, pretty much all the shops are at 5.5, 224.5 the total on this one. Adam, I mean, if you look at what the Grizzlies had, I mean, John Morant did go for 28. Dylan Brooks went for 27. As a team, though, and we talk about this so often in today's NBA, you can kind of look at what happened from 3, and it tells a story. As we mentioned, the Jazz shoot 44% from 3, the Grizzlies shoot 31% from 3, and you get a double-digit win out of the Jazz in this thing.
And yet, to the point that Kelly was just making, the Grizzlies were in that game till late. I mean, it really wasn't until the very end that the Jazz pulled away. And I think even though we know that the Jazz are a better team and they're probably 5 points better than the Grizzlies in most situations, the way that game 3 played out as well, I think also is contributing to why you see this price a little bit depressed. Kelly mentioned John Morant and the performance that he put out. That's my play here tonight. I have John Morant over 25.5. It is not so much about, I think, his ability to score as his usage rate and the fact that the shots are going up for him. He's shooting 25 field goals a game. He's getting to the line with regularity. His usage rate in the playoffs is 33%, 6th in the NBA. Here are the players who are located around him in usage rate. Luka Doncic, Donovan Mitchell, Nikola Jokic, Bradley Beal, Trae Young, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum. Give me 25.5 as the number on any one of those players, and I will play over.
So we have a hockey bet from you. We got a couple of NBA bets right there. You are on a couple of baseball bets as well.
Yeah, the Mets and the Diamondbacks later on. First 5 under 3.5, minus 115. That is Jacob deGrom going for the Mets tonight. And I think the small juice on that is largely based on Merrill Kelly on the other side for the Diamondbacks. I'm not buying into the narrative so much of Jacob deGrom doesn't get run support as I am that if you look at Merrill Kelly, these two pitchers matched up against each other on May 8th. Mets won 4-2. Kelly, 5 2/3, 2 earned, walked 5, and yet the Mets still couldn't take advantage to get more than 2 earned runs. Since that start, his last 3 starts, Merrill Kelly has struck out 22 and walked 2. So take the walks out of the equation for Kelly. Give me Jacob deGrom, who only gave up 1 hit in 5 against the Diamondbacks last time around, and I feel quite comfortable with first 5 under 5. Quick update from the ice there, guys. Montreal has struck first in their quest to come back from a 3-1 deficit to win this series over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Giveaway in the neutral zone and trying to get a look for who had that goal for Toronto, but it is 1-0 here. 3 minutes into the second period, Gallagher strikes for the Canadiens.
If you do want to get in, if you had any conviction on the Maple Leafs coming into this thing, you are now getting plus 120 on them, minus 152 on Montreal if you wanted to get in live. And I'm wondering if something is going to happen here. There it goes. It came back on. Islanders and Bruins line back up, plus 320 on the Islanders to be able to come all the way back in that one. Kelly, we had a lot of action yesterday in the NBA, and just curious as to your takeaways from what we saw yesterday. I mean, of course, we had games going all day long. I think some of the outcomes were pretty interesting, to be honest with you. I mean, when you take a look at what the Hawks were able to do, and then you take a look at what the Suns were able to do in the 2 early games, I was really impressed with both of those teams. I mean, listen, Chris Paul getting back to, I'm not going to say he's certainly not 100%, but I think he was probably 85, 90%. And with that, then you have now, again, what we were talking about in game 1 of this. We were like, okay, this looks like this could be a real series.
Yeah, he was. I was extremely impressed by the turnaround he had from game 2 to game 3, where it really looked like he was laboring and the Suns might be out of it for the series. And then game 3 happens and he looks a lot better. And Anthony Davis leaves the thing. And, this has been a wild series. This keeps flip flopping, and it's kind of a bummer. It's all because of injuries. But, man, I thought, who knows what's going to happen with that series? I mean, this is all going to hang on when Anthony Davis can get back on the court. I think LeBron, that was the healthiest he clearly looked in the playoffs, was yesterday. He's at least attacking the basket a little bit more. You could see on that little alley-oop off the glass, at least he's willing to jump up there and get it. I thought that was impressive. I don't think he's going to be enough, though. This team is really built around those 2 stars. And this Suns team, it's the Lakers. Nobody wants to give these guys any credit, but what they did all regular season, I mean, Matt, you've been higher on the Suns than I have even, but I think it's going to be tough for them to go win 2 of these games when 2 of them are in Phoenix.
So, guys, as we look at this, Lakers closed 6.5 on Sunday. Suns favored by 5.5 here as we come back in game 5. You have a 12-point move with the questionable nature of Anthony Davis, and we assume that he probably will go. But we move cities. Chris Paul is still not completely healthy.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis is questionable. 12 points is an enormous swing.
And the series line has moved to the Suns minus 180 now.
Yeah.
In this. You can get the Lakers at plus 145 on the series line in this. I mean, I assume, this is all because they're assuming Anthony Davis isn't going to play to see that type of move. He's
technically listed as doubtful. A lot could change in the next 24 hours. I actually think a lot of the pricing's built into them thinking he's not going to play game 5.
And I think if he doesn't go, I think that number's pretty appropriate, actually, because, I think the Suns are pretty evenly matched with him even when he's out there. And if you move him off the court and it's LeBron and LeBron only, it's probably about right. I don't know about the Suns being nearly a 2-1 favorite for the series line right now, but that's where we've moved to in this thing. Suns minus 180, Adam.
So that is too big a move for my taste. I do think the game 5 move is still a little heavy, largely considering what Kelly said. LeBron looked healthier. And if LeBron really is going to be able to be, let's even say 85, 90% LeBron, then I don't think the gap is that wide between these teams, unless we want to say, hey, 6.5 was too much on Sunday, right? That might be where the flaw in this is, as opposed to the 5.5 for the Suns here on Game 5.
So the Hawks take a 3-1 lead in that series, and if we take a look here, they're massive, minus 1,400 favorites on that. I mean, Adam, when you take a look at this, you get a pretty decent game out of Randall, finally. Goes for 23, 10 boards, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Now, he did turn the ball over 5 times. But outside of that, I mean, you finally get a pretty good game out of him, and you kind of look down and you see it wasn't like the Hawks really shot the lights out from 3. I mean, they shoot 38%. Granted, the Knicks only shoot 31%. They didn't turn it over a ton. They only had 9 turnovers compared to 10 turnovers for the Hawks. And yet you look at this box score, and it was 113-96.
Most of what Randall put up was late in garbage time. It was another rough performance for Julius Randle in the first half between the Hawks and the Knicks. And yet here we sat at halftime, 53-49. Knicks were still right in that game. We were talking to Jonathan Von Tobel at halftime. He said, basically, I'm either taking the live 6 with the Knicks or I'm not playing this thing at all. And here come the Hawks out of the break, running it up to a 15-point lead almost instantly. I think what we're seeing is probably what we would have said before the series. If you just line up individual talent for individual talent, the Hawks are a deeper, better team than the Knicks. And a lot of the fairy dust that had worked for the Knicks all year long, Julius Randle's mid-range and long-range shot selection that had gone in, Kelly, is just not dropping.
Yeah, there's that. I think William Hill, he was over on My Guys with Daniela earlier today. He put it pretty well, where this was, like you said, Adam, when we went into the series, we laid out, we kind of knew there was more talent on the Atlanta side throughout. And really, it's like, at the end of the day, what did New York do throughout the season? Okay, they came in with very low expectations. They had incredible coaching, incredible significant improvement from one player. You got a Derrick Rose back way healthier kind of at the end of the season than we've seen him in God knows how many years at this point. So I think there's a lot of these that, okay, it was great for the regular season. You did not want to play this team who was ferocious on defense night in and night out. But over a 7-game series, as we always talk about in NBA playoffs, over a 7-game series, the team with more talent, with a better team, is usually going to win out more times than not. And that's what's going on right now with this series.
Well, think about it this way also. The Knicks tried to play the entire season as a playoff basketball type of game, right? They slowed things down.
Long minutes.
Right, exactly, right. And they tried to play low scoring, and you would think, oh, well, that game translates to the playoffs. Well, not necessarily, because the Hawks have adjusted very well to playing in the half court. And at that point, the talent can still win out. You're not taking the Hawks out of what they do night to night when they have a chance to do it over the course of 5 or 6 games, right? It's not like the Hawks have played wide open. Oh, here come the Knicks on the schedule in the middle of 2 weeks. And we play them once. We have to adjust styles. No, we know exactly what we're getting going into this series. And I think you saw that. In game 1, it was a struggle for the Hawks down to the last couple of minutes. They end up sucking out late and winning the thing. And then that set them up for the rest of the series.
The Nets and the Celtics played out. I mean, I think kind of how we all expected that. I was fortunate enough to get in on the Nets live in this one when they
pre-game. Yeah, I think that's a game yesterday. That was one of those rare playoff games that you could have made some money off of easily in multiple. As soon as the Kemba news started popping up, I started hitting it pregame and then jumped in live early on. That was a nice moneymaker yesterday.
And you look at this Nets team, and this is kind of the thing that we continue to say over and over again. I mean, when you're getting 42 from Durant, 39 from Kyrie, and 23 from Harden to go along with 18 Harden assists as well, who is beating this team? I mean, like, who is beating this team?
Ridiculous. Those stat lines you just read are ridiculous. I'll add another one. Joe Harris, who we've brought up a couple times here. I mean, he's playing 37 minutes for you. He just hits everything. It's 4 for 5 from 3 because he's got wide open 3 looks because of these other guys. It's Matt, I'm with you. There's way too much firepower. I mean, I think there's going to be series like this from. Like, I'll predict the Nets don't sweep a single series. That's not going to happen because their defense there's nothing there, right? So when they have an off-shooting night, we're going to see them get beat like they got beat in game 3 by the Celtics. But, like, at the end of the day, those 3 guys have way too much firepower.
The odds of all 3 of those guys having a bad night over the course of a 7-game series, Adam, like we're saying, like maybe once, but it's just not going to happen, I don't think, enough for somebody to be able to beat this team.
No, I mean definitely not in the Eastern Conference. What we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean maybe when we. Yeah,
right?
I mean maybe when we get to a finals type situation.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
I think a healthy Lakers team is going to be right there with them. But I do think what you see with them right now is that they are just going to be able to outclass you. Right? They're just going to be able to out-talent you most nights. My wins on that game were Kevin Durant over 2.5 3-pointers at plus money. Had taken 9 3-pointers in Game 3, only took 3 in Game 4, and managed to hit all of them.
There you go.
Which worked out well. And then James Harden, 43.5 was the points, rebounds, assist number, and he got that pretty handily.
We are still 1-0 in both of the hockey games. Toronto plus 132 now on the money line, down a goal, and the Islanders plus 330 on the money line, down a goal in this one. Adam, when you see that type of number with this much hockey left to play, I mean, is that something you would at least almost consider, or with the Bruins having a goal lead here, it's just not anything you're interested in?
With most teams in the league, I would look at that and say, sure, I'm very interested in that. But this Islanders team, it has been a struggle to score all season long. And we know that Boston's offense, ever since the acquisition of Taylor Hall, has picked up significantly. So that being said, if we look at what it would take for this Islanders team in particular to come back, it would be appropriately priced to say plus 330 on the Isles.
Mavericks and the Clippers series is tied 2 apiece. This series, if you want to play right now at DraftKings, Clippers minus 360, you can get plus 270 on the Mavericks with it knotted up at 2 apiece. Kelly, when you take a look at this one, it's pretty easy. You look down, you see Luka, 9 of 24, 1 of 7 from 3, and that's all you need to see right there.
It's another series that's going to be – it's a real shame that it's going to be affected by a significant injury. You saw the Mavericks go into L.A., steal both those games, and put some really, really heavy pressure on the Clippers. Clippers come back in Game 3, have a massive second-half rally, able to steal that game while Luka gets hurt, and you could see it in that game. You could see it in that game last night. Luka is not himself, and we've been talking for the past week. This guy looks like he's the best player in the world to me right now. He is, but there's nothing around him. So if he's banged up, you're going to have games like you had last night where they struggled mightily.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, 9 of 24, 1 of 7 from downtown, 0 of 5, missed all 5 free throws that he shot. And, if Luka's only getting you 19 and a little bit banged up, going to be too rough. We'll talk about it a little bit more on the other side. Primetime action here on a Monday.
It's crazy how much we have to pay for outdated, impersonal healthcare, and even crazier that we all just accept it. It's time to face facts. Healthcare is backwards. Luckily, there's Forward, a new approach to primary care that's surprisingly personal and refreshingly straightforward. Forward never makes you feel like just another patient. Backed by top-rated doctors and the latest tech, Forward gives you access to personalized care whenever you need it. Using in-depth genetic analysis and real-time blood work, Forward's top-rated doctors provide you with in-depth insights to better understand your genetics, mental, and physical health. They then create custom, easy-to-understand plans to help guide you to achieving long-term health. With Forward, you get unlimited in-person visits with your doctor and access to care anytime via the Forward app, all for one flat monthly fee. It's time to stop accepting backwards healthcare and start moving your health forward. Visit GoForward.com today to learn more. That's GoForward.com.
The time for defense organizations to harness the power of the cloud is now. Discover how you can leverage cloud solutions to advance your mission at Part 3 of GDIT Emerge 2021. Tune in virtually on June 23rd to explore how cloud enables mission partners to modernize IT platforms and integrate new technologies anytime, anywhere. Hear from top leaders in government and industry to learn how the cloud is evolving the way the DoD defends assets, supports the warfighter, and gains tactical advantages. Register today at gdit.com/emerge.
Sign up for the DraftKings Sportsbook now and get a deposit bonus up to $1,000. Simply download the app, use promo code VSIN, that's VSIN, to get started with the only top-rated sportsbook that matters. DraftKings, you can bet on it. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Matt Brown.
So we don't have the sound on here for these games, and so as we go to break, we find out that Joel Embiid spent the entire second quarter in the locker room, Kelly, which again starts to make a little bit of sense as to why we saw the scoring kind of lull there for just a little bit. And so, yeah, he no news yet as to what's going on and whether he's going to be out there or not. I guess what we can say about this is if you did want to get in on, I mean, you're getting +6. You're getting, I mean, they're 6-point dogs, the Wizards, right now, without
I have no interest.
Without Embiid. I don't know. I would take the 6 or pass, I think. I don't know. The 6 is pretty interesting.
It would be, but I think where we are in this series, does Doc Rivers need to push Joel Embiid at all in this game? Like, if there's any question at all as to Joel Embiid's health, you're up 3-0.
Yeah.
You probably can still win this game without him. But can you hold off a Wizards team with Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook trying to keep the season alive? 6 is interesting, but I'm with Kelly that I'm not quite ready on that.
Oh, so there it is. Official out. Will not return.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting. I think catching 6 with the Wizards is an interesting opportunity, actually.
Oh, my fault. I heard you incorrectly.
Yeah,
you said the Wizards are catching 6.
Yeah.
My fault. I thought you said the Sixers were catching 6.
No.
Oh, my fault.
No, so we can. Yeah, I mean, we can get 6 right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can all get 6 right now.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to get 6 right now.
I'm going to be giving that oral. Danielle, what are you betting tonight? So while we
yeah.
Well, they're betting, Danielle. What do you got tonight?
I am on a couple baseball games. I had one hockey bet going, but I believe it just wrapped up at the first period for the Islanders and the Bruins. I had that under 1.5. Lots of juice on that one, so I just put a couple more units. So that's nice. That came home first period under 1.5. And then Pirates Royals, yes, run in the first inning. The no was juiced to like -130 at least, and I was like, no way. Pirates, yes, they will definitely score a run here. So they did in the top of the first, so that's great. That one came home as well. Still waiting on Cardinals Dodgers, no run in the first inning, and Mets Diamondbacks also no run in the first inning. Those games later on, I believe Cardinals Dodgers at 6:10 p.m. and Mets Diamondbacks, that's pretty, at 6:40 p.m. So off to a nice start today. And I also had a yes run earlier in the day, and that was also came home for me. That was Nats Braves. I had the Braves score for me in the first inning. So no losses yet today.
And I got 6.5
running
as well
pure
instead of 6. I got 6.5. I'm liking.
I had the line change on me while I was placing it, which means I paid -50, but I also got 7.5. So I'll take that.
Interesting. All right. I like our position in this one. I mean, like you said, so no Joel Embiid, and as you mentioned, up 3-0. Does this get to a point where you go, you know what, let's take Ben out as well, whatever, we'll come back and we'll win the next game?
It does, because if you're the 76ers right now, everything goes through Joel Embiid. So where are you going for your offense in this game? Because Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook are not going to stop scoring, right? Those two are going to get their points. So where are the Sixers going to get their points from, unless you think Tobias Harris is going to keep up the kind of pace that he's had throughout the rest of this series? And again, all of those guards become less effective without Embiid drawing attention down low.
Yeah, it's got to be Tobias Harris. I mean, he's been the guy that's like, he's got to be, Matt, you and I were talking about him a couple weeks ago, where it's like I feel like he needs to do even more for this team than what he's doing, and he's had a career year, and it's like he still needs to be a bigger impact offensively because of what you just said, Adam. When Embiid's off the court, it's just tough for these guys to create consistent offense. Russell Westbrook, though, he's still kind of dealing with some injuries. 1 for 10 from the field, but he's got 10 rebounds and 10 assists already at the half.
Listen, I don't really love trying to handicap people's intentions and like what they may or may not do or something like that. I guess where I'm going with this is we try to like draw different lines to these things. And yes, they want to win this game tonight because they'd love to just sweep and then be done and then be able to go rest. But if this thing gets to a certain point, I can see them pulling Ben Simmons, pulling Tobias Harris.
It changes when a guy like Joel Embiid gets hurt. I'm completely right. I think in these situations, we look at the team with the chance to end it, that they want to end it. But you're right. Now a guy like Embiid's hurt, you got to play it safe.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
It's funny because the reason I actually stayed off the props in this game in particular was I thought the Sixers were going to run out in this game and run and hide and put everybody on the bench late in the game. Obviously, they might still end up putting everybody on the bench late in the game, but for different reasons.
We'll give out some fruit baskets whenever we come back as well. What won us some bets this past week? Hopefully, everybody made some money here on the sets. Primetime action.
If you missed any part of our show or anything on the VSiN schedule today, don't forget to check out our free sports betting podcast. Catch replays of all our shows, including Follow the Money, A Numbers Game, My Guys in the Desert, and Lombardi Line with VSiN Best Bets. You can also download Beating the Book with Gil Alexander or Market Insights with Josh Applebaum. Plus, we've got Hardwood Handicappers, Long Shots, Gone Racing, and the Ron Flatter Racing Pod. They're all free and available now at vsin.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. Some bets are more fruitful than others. Let's find out who deserves a fruit basket of their own for helping the Primetime Action crew win this weekend. Matt Brown, I believe you owe someone a very large fruit basket.
I do. Before we get into it, though, just in case you wanted to get in, if you were again on the Maple Leafs and think that the Maple Leafs are the team, they're now down 2-0 in this game 7 here, up to 410. Adam, plus 410
on Andy McNeil
on the Leafs. 4 minutes left in the second period. So again, if you have a lot of conviction, you're getting over 4-1.
Here's what I would tell you about that. What I absolutely would play is Toronto puck line +2 right now, even though it's -137, because what has happened here the last two games, Game 5 and Game 6, Montreal had a 2-goal lead in both of those games, blew it both times to go to overtime. One in overtime, but you're winning your Leafs bet at that point. So if you want to play for the big money and play for the money line at +430, go for it, because you have a reasonable chance of Montreal letting in a couple goals and you getting back into it. If you want something surer, I think that puck line is a pretty good bet.
And if we're looking over on the NBA side of things, if you look and you go, wait a minute, why are the Sixers only, whatever it might be, 4.5-point favorites as it's sitting right now? Joel Embiid did not play the entire second quarter, has been ruled out, will not come back in this game. Has been being listed as right knee soreness, Adam. Right knee soreness.
And if you have followed the career of Joel Embiid, seeing the word knee anywhere near it is terrifying.
So right knee soreness is officially where it's at right now. So we'll keep you updated on that if anything further comes.
All the finest fruits, please. This better be like a triple fruit basket that you're offering.
Yeah, so we got another one this past week.
It should be 66 times as nice.
Jason Kokrak goes out and wins in Texas. Jordan Spieth never got it going. And he actually said that along the way during that round. He turned to his caddy and was like, it is impossible to play when nothing is working. He was like, nothing is working for me, And
wait, you're telling me you could hear Jordan Spieth complaining about something on the broadcast?
It happened.
He actually wasn't really complaining. He was just laughing more than anything else because he was trying everything he could try, and nothing was working.
He really didn't have it yesterday at all.
No, nothing was happening. And listen, I was in a really great spot because I had both of them, and both of them were out to such a lead that it would have had to been a monumental collapse by two different guys for me not to win yesterday. But the more lucrative guy did get home, 66-1 on Kokrak to hit that. So my two biggest outrights have both been on Jason Kokrak in the last year. I had an 80-1. Yeah, I had an 80-1 on him for the tournament here, and then a 66 here. So Jason Kokrak definitely deserves big time, lots and lots of fruit baskets.
I would say Kokrak and the tournament in general, since it was like a non-sweat from you past round one.
Yeah,
after round one was in the books, you were looking great from there on out.
It felt pretty good, and yes, so Jason Kokrak's going to get all the fruit.
And takes away a little of the sting of last week, correct?
Yes. Where I had to just sit there and watch my guy just give it away.
Kelly, you're giving some fruit to some golfers as well?
Yeah, I guess if he's given
a modest basket.
Fruit baskets, I'm giving one or a third of a fruit basket, I guess, to each one of these guys. Not listed Colin Morikawa, even though he did cash a top 20 for me. Don't know if you got his his final holes, Matt, but bogey, par, bogey to finish, I was not very happy about. And I thought, man, I was sweating for like an hour and a half yesterday when it gets in that top 20, in the leaders, final groups hitting like hole 8, and you've got all these top 20, top 10 bets, and you're like, oh gosh, this could either be a bloodbath or I could get like a bunch of these home. And I'm working on, I thought Morikawa was going to be the one I didn't have to worry about. But then I got him I'm worrying about. I got Griot I'm worrying about holding on to his 6 under. And then out of nowhere, the one who I gave a fruit basket to last week, but he really deserves special recognition this week again, is Abraham Answer. The past 2 Sundays has got a combined 10 under par to just sneak inside the top 20.
Yeah.
Like a bet I was ruling out as dead on Saturday, he just sneaks home to get it home. So Abraham Answer, Emiliano Griot, and the other guy listed, old Chuck Hoffman, the Hoff, getting it done every week, man, every week.
Adam, you have something of the mystical variety that you're giving a fruit basket to.
I need to give a fruit basket to a unicorn.
Okay.
He's 7'3", and he can't rebound. And he's Kristaps Porzingis. And I have been printing money off Kristaps Porzingis under rebounds props since game 1 of this series. Gather around, children. Let me tell you about something that I think is going to still make you money throughout the rest of this series, because the book where I keep playing it doesn't adjust the number. They adjusted the juice. They didn't adjust the number. Kristaps Porzingis in this series, rebound totals 4, 4, 3, and 5. That number has been hung at 7.5 every game. Now, here's what you have to understand about this. It's not just, Kristaps Porzingis isn't getting rebounds. He's not healthy. And Kristaps Porzingis, because of the fact that his knee is not healthy and his back has had problems all year long, is not playing inside. And so if you just watch the way that they're using Porzingis, they're using him as a floor spacer for Luka Doncic. And so if he's not playing near the hole, especially at the offensive end, he's not getting those easy putbacks, those easy ones, because offensive rebounds, just 3 total in the series for Kristaps Porzingis. So they keep hanging it. I'll keep playing it with Kristaps. I have to send him a special basket, as you can see there at vsin.com. I think if we can throw that one back up there, it's all apples, because my man Kristaps, he'll always be a big apple boy to me. He'll always be a Knick to me. So how about them apples?
Hence him being in a Knicks uniform.
That's why I asked for the specific picture there, sir.
I was wondering where Adam was going to go with the Knicks angle, but there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
I have no fruit baskets. I will be sending none out. There was a honorable mention maybe for the Mystics on Friday, because they came home for me beautifully. They had them plus 7.5. I think they only lost by 1 or 2 points. So honorable mention, but the rest of my WNBA night Friday went so poorly that I decided no fruit will be given.
That's and fair. You don't give it out if no one deserves it.
Yeah.
You hold on to that fruit and wait till next weekend whenever we're able to someone gets a double fruit basket. Wizards come out 6-0 to start the second half. They are now 1.5 point live favorites in this game. 233.5 your total, minus 129 on the money line, plus 104 on the Sixers. Again, no Joel Embiid for the second half here, Adam. So feeling good about it. You're holding the 7.5. I'm holding the 6.5. So feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, we are definitely on the right side here.
When we come back, we're going to take a look at some NHL series prices. Me and Kelly are going to have tons of opinions about this for sure. It's primetime action here on a Monday.
The time for defense organizations to harness the power of the cloud is now. Discover how you can leverage MilCloud 2.0 and DIOS to advance your mission at Part 3 of GDIT Emerge 2021. Tune in virtually on June 23rd to explore how cloud enables mission partners to modernize IT platforms and integrate new technologies anytime, anywhere. Hear from top leaders in government and industry to discover how DoD enterprise clouds, such as MilCloud 2.0 and DIOS, can drive speed of acquisition, collaboration, and choice. Register today at gdit.com/emerge.
Pee-wee Gaskins Was Not My Friend is a new true crime podcast from iHeartRadio and Doghouse Pictures.
He just killed whatever he wanted to when he wanted to.
Pee-wee manipulated one unwitting accessory into aiding him with his final murder.
But it didn't take much to find out the truth about him.
Listen and follow Pee-wee Gaskins Was Not My Friend on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Join the action on DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports. Just download the app and use promo code VSIN when you sign up to compete for cash prizes each week. Don't wait. Sign up now and new customers get a deposit bonus of up to $500. That's code VSIN when you sign up. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Must be 18 years or older. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Matt Brown.
We had a bunch of finals already. We hadn't even talked about in baseball. Lots of day baseball today. The Twins over the Orioles, 3-2. Adam Hansel Robles got the save there for the Twins. It seems as if he has moved into that closer role for them now. Again, they've tried 2 or 3 different guys, so maybe Robles is the guy. We talked about that Twins bullpen and how much it has let them down so far this year. So it looks like they're at least going to go with Robles for the time being.
You know, Robles had a rough year last year for the Angels, but he's coming off of 2019, in which he was a lights-out closer for the Angels. So you know the volatility of relievers easily could be getting it back.
Rays over the Yankees 3-1. Another good outing for Rich Hill for the Rays there. 3-1 winners. They moved to 35-20 on the season, do the Rays. And we were talking about that AL East, and we're just going to say it again this week. I mean, we were saying it made no sense to bet the Yankees in the AL East. And then here we are. The Rays are sitting 35-20. We believe that the Red Sox are good as well. I mean, that number was insane to me.
The New York Yankees on, what is today, May 31st? The New York Yankees are tied for second least runs in the league. Even when you account for the difference in games played, only the Detroit Tigers have scored less runs this year than the Yankees. It's only the amazing starting pitching that they've gotten. Well, guess what? Their starting pitching is starting to fall off just a little bit here. Tyone wasn't great today. Michael King got lit up in Detroit on Sunday. If they don't have that pitching and they're not scoring, they're going to sink like a stone. And the fact that they're still sitting as the favorite in this division, look, I know that this is probably based on the amount of liability that's already out there on the Yankees, but the Rays have moved, I believe that's plus 200. They were plus 350 when we did those numbers earlier last week.
Brewers over the Tigers in 10 innings, 3-2. The Reds all over the Phillies, 11-1. Padres lose to the Cubs, 7-2. Paddock with a rough outing there for that Padres team. We were talking about this pitching for this Padres team that is one of the favorites out there, Adam. One of the teams that everybody likes a ton. Snell has been anything but consistent. Paddock has been anything but consistent. I think this is another one of those teams that we're going to be looking at going, are they going to have consistent enough arms to actually make a run at winning this thing?
I agree with you. And I think if you go and check out World Series futures right now, you probably could have gotten a better price on the Dodgers 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it's Dodgers or bust for me if you're going to play a future right now. 3.5-1 on a team that is head and shoulders, 2 levels above everybody else in baseball right now. That is by far the best bet. Look at this. Look at what we have here right now, Matt. White Sox 7-1, Yankees 8-1, Padres 8-1, Mets 9.5. There's no one in the same class as the Dodgers anywhere near that. And the price is not like you're paying even money on the Dodgers. You're still getting a good return on a team that is they just got Cody Bellinger back over the weekend.
Yeah, and Gonsolin's on his way. So I think they said he has 2 more rehab starts, and then he'll be in that rotation for them. So, yeah, they're just now starting to get healthy. You still get 3.5-1 on them for sure. White Sox over the Indians, first half of a doubleheader. They won 8-6, and that one, the Astros 11-2 over the Red Sox. Urquidy with another very good outing there for the Astros. Giants 6-1 over the Angels. Cueto moves to 4-1 on the season. The Mariners over the A's in 10. The Braves 5-3 over the Nationals. Acuna hits his 16th home run there for the Braves. And, of course, we have 2 first pitches a little bit later.
Quick note there, just on the Mariners real quick. The Seattle Mariners just moved over 500 today. At the end of May. They're 28-27. Matt, I did a dive on their analytics today because I wanted to find something that would justify this, and there is nothing that justifies this. So don't get fooled by that Mariners record if you're looking to bet them right now. Everything about them says this is fool's gold.
Danielle, you have brought some new odds for Adam because I don't think Kelly and I are going to have a ton of insight into the hockey future market here. But hey, maybe Kelly does. Maybe he became Hockey Kelly over the long weekend.
No, I almost bet one today on the Islanders at 4-1, and I texted Andy McNeil. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And he was like, I hate it. I bet the Bruins to sweep them. I'm like, all right, never mind. I'm just going to shut up and go back to NBA.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting you say that because, as Kelly mentioned, I was on My Guys in the Desert earlier today on VSiN, and we talked to Brady Cannon, who said that he did grab the Islanders plus 420 in this series versus the Bruins. The Bruins minus 455. The best number I'm seeing is like 330 here, but obviously Kelly saw 4-1 earlier. Bruins just lead the series 1-0, but they are up 1-0 in this game 2 right now with about 13 minutes. Did we get another goal?
1-1 as you were talking. The Bruins have given up the lead there. Isles knotted up at 1. Look, what we're seeing right now from DraftKings plus 330 on the graphic that we have, that was pregame, plus 420 on the Isles. Obviously, that's going to be gone now, but 420, yes, I'll go ahead and take plus 4-1 essentially on the Isles. On the idea that that Boston's team bus flips over and there are injuries, but other than that. This Boston offense, ever since the acquisition of Taylor Hall, has been absolutely outstanding, and the Isles can't score in general. So, I understand why the lines are where they are. If it's plus 330, no, I don't know that that's enough on the Isles, who opened in this series at roughly plus 175, 180. So, that's not where my money's going to be.
What about Vegas Golden Knights at plus 360 in their series versus the Avalanche? Avalanche minus 500. The Avalanche lead this series 1-0 after yesterday's just
blitzkrieg
mess. I mean, it was a Matt Brown game if I've ever seen one. 7-1 final score. I mean, just embarrassing.
So thank you. Even though that wasn't planned, you two just made my point for me. This is a wild overreaction to that game. This is an absolutely, completely, totally overreaction move to push the Golden Knights out to plus 360. Look, most shops had them at 170 going into last night. So you've more than doubled the price on the Golden Knights after losing 1 game in a 7-game series. Look, I understand the Avalanche came out there and scored 7 goals. Robin Lehner played worse than the Geico Walrus in net. He was horrendous last night. So think about this. The whole idea was Robin Lehner's going to play game 1 and give Marc-Andre Fleury a chance to get a rest because they don't play again until Wednesday. And so because of that, the Golden Knights, in essence, were saying, you know what? If we get out of Colorado with a split, we'll feel great about this. And they're going to go for that split in game 2. So if the Golden Knights come back and win game 2, that price is going to shoot way back down again. And in a 5-game series, it's probably going to shoot back down under the 170 that you would have gotten originally. So I love this price on the Golden Knights because these two teams are still a coin flip. Also, Ryan Reeves, for one of the most disgusting acts I've ever seen on the ice in a hockey game, pulling out the hair of an opponent, putting his knee down and jamming the guy's head into the ice, got a 2-game suspension. First of all, that's far too little. He should have been suspended for the rest of the playoffs. But that being said, he's going to be out of the lineup for the next 2 games, and he is the worst player for the Golden Knights. And so you're going to replace him with someone better for the next 2 games. And so that's actually a blessing in disguise for the Golden Knights coming back here. I like that series price.
What about, Adam, what about this plus 2.5 at about minus 112 on the game spread?
Plus 2.5.
Yeah, you said a series game spread. You get Golden Knights plus.
Sorry, I hadn't made it that far.
112.
Hadn't made it that far down the board. So you're basically telling me that I understand what the concept is here. Avalanche aren't winning the series in 5 games. I know how dominant they were last night, but the Golden Knights are a far better team than what was out there on the ice last night, and they're going to be better just by putting Marc-Andre Fleury back in net. I think the Avalanche win this series, but absolutely, plus 2.5, I endorse.
There's one more in here, obviously, we can look at as well. Lightning and Hurricanes. Hurricanes knocked out the Predators just last week. Lightning minus 286. They do have the series lead 1-0, and the Hurricanes plus 223. Anything worth looking at here?
Well, that game went to overtime between the Lightning and the Hurricanes, right? There's 1-1 going into the extra session. The Hurricanes are one of those teams that have been under-respected all year long. Because Andrei Vasilevsky has not been outstanding in these playoffs, I would feel comfortable with that plus 223. However, I also think that's a pretty fair price on the Hurricanes. To me, what I can't make sense of is the difference between where Colorado is against the Golden Knights and where the Lightning are against the Hurricanes, because the Lightning and Hurricanes, to me, are about as far apart as Colorado and the Golden Knights are. I know Colorado went out there and did what they did yesterday, but a lot of that was Robin Lehner and the horrendous performance he had.
Yeah.
He was. I actually watched that game yesterday, and that was one of those things where I wish I could have bet the over/under on amount of fights in the third period, because once you're getting beat that bad and the frustration just starts to come out, I was like, I would take the over 3.5.
I mean, and somewhere in the world, those odds were probably on offer. But yeah, I mean, the Golden Knights did not like the hit by Ryan Graves on Matthias Janmark in the middle of that game. The NHL came out and said, no extra discipline for that. We got it during the game. That's that. Ryan Reeves, obviously a different situation.
The Wizards out to a 6-point lead here in the third with about 3.5 minutes left. Again, the big news in this one is that Joel Embiid left this game, did not play the entire second quarter, then at halftime was ruled out, calling it some sort of knee injury. Adam, you said you watched the replay.
Hold on. We got big news here, Matt. We got big news. Someone has run onto the court in the Sixers-Wizards game and was tackled.
What is wrong with fans, dude? What is happening with these fans?
I don't know, man.
Are we going to get to where we're going to be like, you know what?
It's horrible.
Get the fans out of here. It's better without the fans.
So far, it's been worse with the fans. It's disgusting to see how they're acting. Grow up, people. That's from me.
At least they're not zooming in and giving this guy any like they zoomed out and they're not giving this guy any television time. Thank goodness, because that's what he was doing.
Let's be honest here, guys. We're kind of half joking. That's terrifying that guy got that far. He got onto the court within range of where he could have put his hands on a player.
It's horrible. It's been horrible since they've brought the fans back.
I mean, the golf tournament a couple of weeks ago, where Brooks Koepka gets lost in the sea of people and everything and all that. It's just
every NBA game, someone's throwing. Don't throw bottles at people. Just don't.
We're overdue for another Malice at the Palace.
Listen, that's what we're saying. Don't throw things. Don't spit.
Yeah.
Don't run on the court.
Basic human rules.
Yes, don't do that. So we're going to talk to JVT about this late game and, of course, what's going on with the Sixers as well on the other side. Primetime action.
I think what flavor of these new Dunkin' Coconut Refreshers you get says a lot about you.
Really? What's it say about me?
Well, you got the refreshing golden peach because you're vibrant, fun, and positive.
Oh, what about me?
The bold purple pomegranate means you're vibrant, fun, and positive.
I take it I got this delicious pink strawberry because I'm vibrant, fun, and positive.
Yeah, it's a simple system, really.
Share the shine. Enjoy a medium Dunkin' Coconut Refresher for $3. Order ahead plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. Excludes classic Dunkin' Refreshers.
This is Giselle Bryant.
And I'm Robin Dixon.
We're the hosts of Reasonably Shady on the Black Effect Podcast Network.
You might know us from Bravo's The Real Housewives of Potomac.
Every week we're going to be talking about so many reasonable and shady things.
Current events, what is going on in our lives.
You don't want to miss it. We're so reasonable, we're so shady, and you're going to love it. Don't miss an episode of Reasonably Shady. Listen and subscribe on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.